At Sony, we help professionals tell their stories. And every story starts at the beginning with imaging technology. The imager is at the heart of everything we do, from CCD to CMOS and HD to 4K. Our passion and obsession for imaging quality are constantly driving new technology.
For more than 30 years at Sony, I've been immersed in camera technology and development. I've learned a camera is more than a tool to record images. It's a device to share experiences and memories that are stored in your heart. This concept extends into the professional field as well, where images captured by Sony's cameras are transmitted, stored, and displayed for people to enjoy and be moved by. To continue down this path, we need to constantly develop and hone our technology.
Sony technologies, from HD to 4K and beyond, encourage professionals to explore new areas of creativity, inspiring deep emotional connections with their content.
The image sensor is the heart of the camera. One of Sony's greatest strengths is in the development of our unique image sensors. Combining our advanced imaging expertise with Sony's device manufacturing and processing technology, we are able to create what I believe are the best cameras available today.
Sony has led every technology revolution, standing by our customers as a trusted solutions provider and valued business partner. Our technologies are proven in professional applications and diverse workflows.
Today's professionals must keep up with the newest trends in technology, including HDR, 4K, and 8K resolution, networking, and cloud services. Sony provides the latest technology and products to enhance our users' experiences and help them transition to the future. Through our cutting-edge technology, we aim to deliver a rich and memorable imaging experience for professionals and their customers.
Sony engineering, design, and development are behind it all, allowing us to do what no other company can and helping professionals do what they do best. Now, prepare to take the next leaps in technology, in 4K, in HDR, in storage, in IP, in transmission, in creativity.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome John Studdert.
Welcome to Sony's NAB 2016 press conference. That video sums up all of the elements that make Sony unique. I want to thank Ishizuka-san for delivering his vision and setting the perfect tone for today. Ishizuka-san. I also want to thank Sony executive management from Japan and the US who are with us today. Toshi Onishi. Alec Shapiro. And Mike Fasulo. Thank you for your support. The images we experience require a great camera and sensor. They also require all the technologies that make up the total distribution workflow: acquisition, storage, transmission, and ultimately display. Today, you'll hear about the advancements Sony has made in each of these areas. You'll hear from industry leaders on their plans to create and deliver stunning 4K and HDR content. And we'll take a look into the future of these technologies. Sony's goal is to create and deliver the best possible tools for professionals and the best pictures for consumers, or as we like to say, from the lens to the living room. This has been a phenomenal year for Sony. We strengthen our leadership by working closer with our customers, listening to them, so we can bring to market the right products, solutions, and services they need to succeed. Sony is responding with new products for the creation and delivery of 4K HDR over IP, and with workflows that support high-quality, low-cost production. This year, thanks to our customers' input, we're able to deliver products that filled a clear need in the market. The BVM X300 became the mastering monitor for 4K and HDR. The HTC 4300, which quickly became the standard for live entertainment and sports. And the FS5 4K camcorder, a high-quality entry point for aspiring cinematographers. We're not just focused on great products. Sony is bringing managed services to the market. Public Media Management, which launched last year, is running master control for 7 PBS stations, handling 24 streams. And YES in New Orleans will be going live soon. Sony's Media Cloud service is expanding. Tegna Media is using the platform for central distribution of its syndicated content. And just this week, CBS signed on to use Sony's cloud platform for network news. Our Hawkeye Live sports tracking solution is redefining officiating, production, coaching, and player analysis. Hawkeye solutions are now installed in over 450 stadiums worldwide and used by over a dozen major sports leagues, including a new rugby league, which starts tonight. But as our opening video said, let's start at the beginning. Please welcome Peter Crithry. Peter?
All right, thanks, John. Appreciate it. All right, how's everybody doing this afternoon? Good? Yes? All right, excellent. All right, we're going to start with the image sensor. The sensors we make are in every type of device. Sony sensors are in our groundbreaking Alpha full-frame models, our widely used FS5 and FS7 camcorders, and our high-end Cinealta motion picture cameras. It's a true family. Each model coexists and complements each other. Sony's camera lineup leaves no stone unturned, addressing every broadcast application, every production genre, and at every budget level. Our ENG and broadcast cameras have constantly evolved from EBPEG to now also including XAVC throughout our entire line. Our production cameras are used by award-winning cinematographers, sports producers, online creators, and more. And I would like to call out one production in particular. Oscar-winning cinematographer John Toll, ASC, recently shot Billy Lynn's long halftime walk on the F-65, directed by Ang Lee. At his keynote yesterday, Lee talked about his newest film, which was shot entirely in 4K at 120 frames per second and in 3D. Another first for Sony and for the industry. Our cameras are popular for IMAX productions, especially the F-65, with its extremely high resolution and color rendition. Top bands are shooting their concerts in 4K. Many of these productions often mix models like F-55s with our HDC 4300 studio cameras. This combines a beautiful super 35mm filmic look with 2/3 inch lenses, fiber connectivity, seamless Genlock, and many other features, and shows why our products dominate in large-scale multi-camera productions. Sony's F-55 cameras are also the top picks for OTT, chosen by Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu for their original 4K content productions. Here, the driving force is 4K, but in addition now, especially high dynamic range. And Sony is at the forefront of HDR, driving the best possible picture quality from our professional cameras into the home for an incredible viewing experience. A huge benefit of HDR displays is a much wider color space, and that's why it's critical to shoot with cameras that capture an enormous dynamic range with very low noise and with an enormous color palette. That is Sony's S-Gamut 3. Sony's flagship 4K TVs also support high dynamic range, and you'll see these TVs in our NAB exhibit on the show floor. In addition, Sony makes a number of professional HDR-ready products, notably, of course, our 4K cameras, switches, and our high-end OLED monitor. Last year at NAB, many of you might remember, we rolled out our first 4K master monitor, the BVM X300. Already, it's the reference standard for 4K and HDR grading. It's also making its way on set and into mobile trucks. And here, the end-to-end Sony workflow from the camera to the monitor is a huge benefit. All the processing for HDR display is done by the monitor, and there's no need to apply any LUTs. Direct connection from the camera to the display. That's a huge advantage for on-set HDR monitoring, and again, it's unique to Sony. Now, in response to our customers' needs for an even more HDR tools at the highest level, here at NAB, we're unveiling our second HDR monitor, the PVM X550. It's perfect for client viewing. The new monitor's quad view display means you can have 4 completely independent signals coming into the monitor at the same time. You can also monitor HDR and SDR on the same monitor. These HDR monitors are the perfect complement to cameras like the F5 and 55, which are both 4K and HDR ready, as we mentioned earlier. And they are ready right out of the box. We're continually enhancing these cameras with firmware upgrades based on customer feedback. Our newest update is version 8, delivering enhanced XAVC support for professionals that need that much more higher picture quality performance out of their cameras. Version 8 is also important for a significantly new product in the Cinealta family, which you'll see on the show floor here at NAB, the AXS-R7 portable memory recorder for both the F5 and F55 cameras. The R7 is designed for the more demanding requirements of working in both 2K and 4K RAW. Now you can maintain the highest levels of image quality with the benefit of more features. That's the AXS-R7. It records 4K at a continuous 120 frames per second in 16-bit RAW in full resolution with no line skipping. It also supports up to 30 seconds cache recording in 4K at 24p, which is great for documentary and wildlife shooters who need to capture that spontaneous action, especially with wildlife. We're also introducing new cards, new media cards that double the speed of our existing cards to 4.8 gigabits per second for sustained 120 frame RAW recording. Our firmware upgrade approach also extends to our compact professional camcorders, including the FS7 and FS5. Now we come to lenses. The new G Master series. Until now, shooters had to choose between either high resolution or effects like beautiful bokeh. You couldn't get both unless you spent a lot of money. Now, one lens series gives you the highest quality optics and at high speed. G Master is our commitment to high-end glass, lenses that are sharper, more beautiful, affordable, and fit Sony's range of E-mount cameras. We're also growing our compact camcorder line with new models like the Z150. Perfect for corporate and schools. It's an inexpensive, easy-to-use, full-featured 4K camcorder. And that NAB wouldn't be complete without mention of XDCAM. And today, we're unveiling the world's first 4K shoulder camera with a 2/3-inch sensor, a huge leap for 4K television production. Okay, so far, we've talked about products that create and display beautiful images. But once your content is finalized, you need to store it somewhere for the long term, right? We all have data we have to worry about. What do you do with it? At NAB, we're unveiling Generation 2 of our optical disc archive. This newest version doubles the transfer rate and doubles the capacity of a single cartridge to 3.3 terabytes of data storage. This is it right here. A new high-capacity optical disc is the storage media for Gen 2. And Sony has developed an 8-channel optical drive as well. More speed and more storage, perfect for the increasingly demanding requirements of never-ending data. We all have to deal with a lot of data, right? Including 4K. It's a real solution for deep archive, nearline, online, and disaster recovery storage. Optical disc archive can easily scale from the size of a standalone tabletop drive up to a library that supports petabytes of data. And support for this system is strong and growing, with current customers including the Fox Station Group, Alabama Public TV, and WRAL Capital Broadcasting. There is already support for Gen 2 from several customers. The Golf Channel, our first customer in the US, is committed to Gen 2, and several others will begin testing Gen 2 very soon. And to give customers even more options, we also offer portable storage in 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte hard drives, and a 4 and 6 terabyte RAID drive you'll see here at the show. And Sony is establishing relationships with industry partners. We acquired Men1 last year to give customers more options for digitizing and preserving their content. Now, for a different look at our products and customers' workflows, I'll turn things over to my esteemed colleague, Dion Lecointe. Please welcome Dion to the stage.
Thank you, Peter. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll start off by asking for a favor. I have no idea if they're going to let me do this again. So since everybody's recording video and taking pictures, and I kind of want to show this to my mom, if anybody sees that there's like lettuce in my teeth, be a little forgiving when you're taking the pictures because she's going to be the first person to comment on that. So do some creative editing in Photoshop or something. Just take the lettuce or the spinach out, please, so when I show it to her, she's proud of me. Everybody good? Say yes if you're going to do that. I didn't hear enough yes. Who said no? Okay, all right, we're going to get started. But that was a great overview of our 4K and HDR products. Now I'm going to talk about how they're being used. And we'll also talk about how IP technology is changing broadcast and production. 4K is gaining ground everywhere you would expect. Broadcast, live events, sports, and every level of production. It's also evolving in places you wouldn't expect. For example, houses of worship. Mosaic Church in Los Angeles is set to become the first 4K church in the nation. Their new end-to-end Sony 4K solution includes HDC 4300 and f55 cameras, OLED and HD displays, and our new IP-ready XVS 8000 switcher and PWS 4500 live production server system. The technology was just installed and is ready to offer members an entirely new way of receiving the church's message. Mosaic is really redefining how 4K can transform an organization's message. 4K live production and distribution is also a reality, especially in sports and in live entertainment. Let's hear from two of our customers working in each of these areas. Please welcome Mike Johnson and Mary Ellen Carlisle from Dome Productions, and from Viacom Media Network's Music and Entertainment Group, Danny Walters. Perfect. I'm gonna take out my handy dandy cue cards here. Trying to make Larry King proud too. So I'm gonna start off with a general question for you guys. Thank you all very much for being here. And wanted to really talk about a lot of the work you guys have been doing recently with regards to 4K live production. So this is for all of you. And it's, with 4K live production having really progressed recently, what's your assessment of the current landscape? And we can start with you, Danny.
Well, like we talked about earlier, the landscape's a little hilly from where I sit. We just got into the 4K business in the new truck back in January. And we see it going a couple of different directions. We've got, some customers that want to do a 4K end-to-end solution. We've got, some of the shows that we work on. They want to do a traditional HD signal flow, but lay off recordings in 4K for future use. And then we've also seen it used a lot as a production element or production tool in using HD cutout from a camera to give you a wide shot and a tight shot from the same camera in a situation where you've got one camera on a jib out hanging over the audience, and you don't necessarily want two cameras in that location, or you don't have the option. We're also using it as a production element, doing HD cutout on replay, doing MMA coverage, And so we see it going a couple of different directions.
Sure.
I can't say that with any certainty that it's all going on one way. We see several different applications.
Great. Thank you. Mary Ellen?
We're from north of the border, Canada, so it's not hilly. The train has left the station. We started doing 4K events on January 21st with our partners, Bell Media and Rogers Broadcasting. And we've done over 40 events and planning to do 200 events this year with our trucks going directly to the set-top boxes, going directly to the home.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So and you already touched upon this a little bit, Danny, how are you guys using 4K today for your productions?
Well, as I mentioned here a minute ago, we're using it in a couple of very different ways. We do have some 4K events on the schedule between now and the end of the year. Somewhere in the that want to do acquisition and recording for a 4K product. Some of their customers are requesting 4K deliverables. Internally, we're still very much an HD channel family within Viacom. And we're a little different in that that we are our primary customer. The remote fleet that Viacom maintains, their prime directive is to support Viacom family channels.
Sure.
But we see a lot of people that are wanting to bank 4K content for later use, or to be able to go back and up-res later on to relink to the 4K recordings. So that's a lot of what we're doing initially. I mean, the truck came out in January. We're 3 events in. We've got a very full calendar between now and the end of the year. Sure. But in those 3 events, we had 3 very different experiences.
Sure. Actually, while you touched upon that, so the 3 events you guys did were Grease Live, the Kids' Choice Awards, and the MTV Movie Awards. I mean, how did that go? What hurdles did you have to overcome, and what lessons do you think you've learned from those 3 events now that you can look back at them?
Wow.
I know a lot.
Yeah, not a loaded question at all. We were talking a minute ago about that. It's the whole transition between spending, in our case anyway, the better part of 3 years to bring this facility, to bring it in and get it finished, and being able to design and implement and test and configure. Then you have to take that and you have to go out into the market and make it do something useful.
Sure.
So that's a lot of the challenge. Most people that launch a new mobile facility, they like to go do a nice, easy little first-time throwaway event. We didn't get that opportunity. We went straight to Warner Brothers and did Grease for Fox. We learned a lot of things in that that I'm hoping will bear fruit later on. I mean, a lot of it was dealing with data storage. Yeah. Massive amounts of data storage. The truck carries multiple tens of hundreds of terabytes of data, but it's hard to move it all in some timely fashion. So that's a lot of what we had to deal with. Dealing a lot with monitoring things and being able to see things in color spaces. When you're talking about an HD tier and a 4K tier, it's 2 very different, distinct color spaces, and color grading for each color space gets a little tricky.
Sure. Understood. Okay, thank you. So how are you guys using 4K today for your productions?
Well, in the last, before baseball started, we've been doing a side-by-side. So where we've had a HD truck and shadow cut with a 4K truck. So with the 4300 camera, we're able to take a feed of a 4K to go into the 4K truck, the HD feed into the HD truck, and then we did a true shadow cut. 2 TDs, same cameras, and bringing in the replay systems and converting them.
Understood. Mike, can you talk a little bit about that hybrid approach, the 4K HD hybrid approach, and where it's brought you guys today?
Yeah, certainly. Our leap into 4K, it was moving into a different space. Of course, we went through that transition when we went from SD to HD, and we understood some of the production concerns that would be related to that. And so we wanted to create an adoption that allowed for a progression into the 4K space. And so creating a 4K side-by-side production solution, not impacting the HD show, keeping that unimpacted by any new introduction of technology, allowed us to build on just a number of shows and a developed comfort level that actually has really turned around and evolved into a very fast uptake for us. Those initial days of a side-by-side 4K production have led to our recent release of a single truck solution, where now we're producing the entire show in 4K with an HD down convert for delivery. So we were able to, in a very short period of time, move through an adoption of the 4K technology for our production partners in a way that really made it work for them.
Okay, wow. So as it relates to Dome, I know you guys have already done over 40 4K live productions already. So what lessons have you guys learned in doing those?
Learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah, and it was kind of a confirmation of that understanding those changes in workflow, because that's the biggest thing. And I know we went through some trialing and staging with some of our operators and people in that space. We understood the changes that were going to come in that TD environment, that role, the replay environment, and also for the camera shaders.
We really brought the teams together. We brought production in, we brought the operators in, we brought engineering in, and we were really trying to explain to production that nothing really changes except for the workflow of the replay. I don't think we're there yet in terms of 4K. I believe we'll get there. Right now we've doubled the operators. So I think the team approach and the trials that we did, 4K spectacular. We've learned that.
So where do both companies see 4K live headed? And I guess, is HDR also a part of your future plans?
That's a tough one for us. I mean, we don't have any 4K distribution yet, and the distribution in the U.S., you've got several different platforms.
Sure.
So I don't know where that goes just yet. I'm actually not certain. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Tell me the question again. I'm
So
sorry.
where do you see 4K live headed? And
Yeah.
do you have any plans for HDR?
The HDR is the one I wanted to touch on. I think we have far and away more use for that in the near term. That's just my view. I like what that brings to current HD workflows.
Yeah.
It's in much the same way that we gained color and depth and impact and resolution and all going from standard F to HD. The next step for us, is going to be to go into HDR and increasing that color space and some of that impact before we head off into 4K. I mean, again, we'll do a lot of 4K recording. Some of that'll get used near term. Some of that'll get sort of banked for later. And again, it's very much dependent on the particular project.
Yeah.
As a vendor, my group kind of has to go the direction that the production groups want to go, and it hasn't been the same twice.
Got you.
We see a tremendous value in getting to that HDR solution, and so it's a big part of our effort to explore how we're going to bring that around to our production environment and stuff. And so the HDR is going to really complement a lot of our sports coverage. So we really look forward to seeing that evolve. And we've been doing some trialing and testing in that space, and can't get there soon enough.
Yeah, and even from a 4K perspective, it's a different landscape in Canada as it relates to the U.S. as in 4K distribution to the home.
Yes, I don't think the 4K for us is, we're not going backwards. We're going to be pursuing going forward and trying to do more and more events in 4K. We have mastered 4K distribution from the venue to master control, and our owners have mastered getting it to the set-top box and getting home. Our owners are trying to get to HDR very quickly. Mike has what we call an HDR Batcave at Dome Productions. And we've been trialing it since probably the first game that we've done.
Yes.
So.
Got you.
Yeah, I have to agree that there's a lot to be said in moving that into that HDR for what it brings in the near term and all. I think it's terrific. They have a very different situation in that they, you know, that they own the solution end to end.
Yeah.
That's a very different situation for us, in that, you know, we own very little of the chain, even internally within Viacom. You know, going from the production group up through from the engineering group that does the remote broadcast, up through the very production groups to distribution. You know, even though it's all one company, we don't own the end-to-end solution really.
Sure, understood.
So we don't see it going backwards.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's why we built this facility 4K in the first place. Is, you know, we've got to throw that dart 10 years down the road.
Agreed. Yep.
You know, and it didn't make any kind of sense at all to limit that. I mean, things aren't going to go backward. You're exactly correct.
All right.
And we really believe that HDR is the wow of 4K.
The wow is HDR.
The wow of 4K.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys very much for spending some time today. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for Dome Productions and Viacom Networks. Thank you, guys. Sure. Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mike. Right ahead. So it's clear that 4K and HDR are a reality. And when you combine 4K with IP, the possibilities are amazing. IP-based production systems are practical, flexible, and cost-effective. You can build an end-to-end live production system using COTS equipment like network switches without losing the proven efficiencies of SDI. We're focused on our customers' needs as they transition to IP. We're building products today that will support any standardized IP technology in the future. Sony's networked media interface and our low latency video codec are key elements of our IP live production system, transmitting both HD and UHD signals in real time over a network. These technologies are also at the heart of our third-party relationships. Our ongoing collaboration with companies like Imagine Communications and Evertz is creating widespread IP interoperability. It's enabling workflows that allow audio, video, and metadata to be individual IP multicast streams. Today, we're very excited to announce our newest IP collaboration. Grass Valley is joining the IP Live Alliance and will natively support Sony NMI. That brings the total number of IP Live Alliance partners to 49. In addition, Sony is joining the AIMS Alliance, working with industry partners to develop open, industry-wide IP workflows and standards. It's clear that as we've done in so many technology areas, Sony is leading in IP, and our customers are also leading. TV Globo in Brazil is leading the way in 4K IP production and transmission. Their new all 4K IP truck, powered by Sony, hits the road this summer. Its first stop, the Games in Rio this summer. Let's take a look at the new truck and hear a little bit about their story.
Hi friends from NAB. I am Raimundo Barros, TV Globo's CTO. It's a pleasure to talk to you from our glass studio in Rio about a successful partnership, Globo and Sony. For more than 4 years, we have been working together, seeking innovation and excellence. TV Globo quality standard is well known around the world. In live sports productions, we are recognized as one of the most demanding customers. Thus, we are very proud to choose Sony once again as a unique partner. It's time to move to our new OB truck. Let's fly to the future. Welcome to our new truck, the first 4K IP truck in the world, equipped with Sony's HDC4300 and an all-new ultra-high frame rate 4K camera. PWS 4500 servers, and the XVS 8000 production switcher, all IP enabled through the entire workflow. Sony's 4K IP technology will allow us to upgrade from HD to 4K now and to any new format that might be available in the coming years. IP is a future-proof and enabling technology. This truck is capable of handling up to 20 hardwired cameras. The camera lineup in the beginning is one f/65, 6 HDC 4300s, and 3 all-new 4K ultra-high frame rate cameras integrated using IP technology through the infrastructure based on the fiber optics and commercial off-the-shelf IP switches. Sony's IP technology gave us the confidence that it was ready to deliver a full 4K OB truck based on IP infrastructure. Reliability in the IP environment is a huge concern as well. I'm glad to say that after extensive testing, we haven't found one single point of failure. Lighter and simpler cabling was one of the main reasons we choose to use IP technology. It's cost-effective, and the infrastructure will be ready for new formats in the future. Rio Olympics will be the first major deployment for the new 4K IP truck. After that, there are no limits to what we can do with 4K and IP, working with Sony, of course.
That truck is based on many of the newest technologies you'll see in our NAB exhibit. We have a new family of switchers, XVS. They're truly format independent and can handle any type of production or input, IP, SDI, 4K, or HD. These are powerful devices made even stronger by their IP technology. We're also highlighting our IP-enabled X-Series control panel. It's based on standard TCP IP connectivity to allow support for multi-operator productions. You can split the panel into multiple configurations, so 2 or 3 operators between control rooms or between cities can control the same XVS switcher. It can have a flat or curved configuration. And this interface option is what TDs have asked for. Today, it's possible to build an end-to-end IP control room exclusively around Sony products, switchers, cameras, and servers. Customers can move from SDI to IP with support for 4K and HDR, and even future support for 8K, all using Sony components. And with our alliances, we add interoperability and connectivity. Now we've come to the grand finale. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage, John Studdard.
Thanks, Dion. Your mom's going to be proud.
Thank you.
Last year, we introduced the world's first 4K studio camera with 3 2/3-inch sensors that captures 4K at 2 times normal frame rate and HD at an amazing 8 times normal frame rate. The HDC 4300 gave producers everything they needed to create a great story. A studio camera that could be used for HD and 4K live productions, incorporated high frame rate and HDR, and provide exceptional low-light performance with native 4K resolution. This camera has been put to use in just about every high-profile live production, making it the new standard for live entertainment and sports. This year, we're unveiling the next leap in Sony imaging. Ultra-high frame rate and dynamic center cut and zoom are the heart of live production. They allow modern sport producers to tell their stories and offer analysis in new ways only they can imagine. Our newest camera is an ultra-high frame rate 4K live entertainment and sports system. It captures 8 times 4K and up to 16 times HD. Amazing. And it works seamlessly within the Sony family of HDC accessories, including our large lens adapter. But don't take our word for it. This camera has already proven itself on the biggest live sports stage. As you can see, Ken and his crew, over there, at CBS Sports, put the camera through its paces at the big game. Viewers at home saw spectacular pictures and replays. In fact, the camera made air 15 times. I can tell you, Peyton wasn't the only one celebrating at the end of the game. We were. Behind the scenes, this ultra-high frame rate camera fits seamlessly into CBS's existing setup for camera control and shading. See for yourself what it can do. That video demonstrated the next generation of our 4K camera technology. To help me unveil it, I'd like to ask Alex Shapiro and Kiriyama-san to join me on stage. Our customers' input helped turn Kiriyama-san's vision of this new camera into a reality. Here it is.
This is the HTC 4800. When it was still under, its code name was Titan, and even we couldn't have imagined just how fitting that name was. It put together many of the elements covered today: acquisition, networking, and storage. With its companion replay server, broadband processor, storage, now have a 4K high-speed workflow. This system eliminates the risk of missing the most critical moments in sports. It's on display in our exhibit, and we want you to see it for yourselves, as well as all of the other technologies that help tell our imaging story. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Please come up and take a picture.